Thank you, Costa. I was thinking today, you know, behind a substantial beard sits a substantial man and a wonderful contributor to our world. I think we just need to find ourselves again. We're going to have a bit of music. Please stand up, you know, let's get moving. You don't necessarily have to dance, you know, it's not an optional thing, but just get the blood moving and get moving.
All right, we can help in that department. Thanks, Peter. And thanks, Costa. Can we give it up one more time for our wonderful launcher and David Holmgren and the whole team behind RetroSuburbia. Thanks very much. So, you know, for me, it all comes back to the soil. You know, our suburbs and our homes, wherever we live, are fertile ground for this stuff. So this is a little song for you guys, all about the soil. It's from our new album, Grow Do It, which is good for the kids, and was launched for the Year of Soils a couple of years ago. It's called You Are What You Eat. Don't be scared to have a boogie. You are what you eat, and you are what you eat eats, and you're even what you eat eats. Here's a clue, why don't you take a peek beneath your feet? Oh, Cause if you wanna know what you're made from, look at what you're made from. Cause the stuff that we're all made from is the same. Yeah, we goes from dust to dust, so you gotta just trust that upper crust and maintain that good terrain from whence you came. Cause we've been looking up, or we've been messing around, we've been freaking out, but it's time to get down, down, down. We're made up of common ground, can't live without it, and it's time to get down, 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 down. When you flirt with the dirt, you'll observe it's certainly not inert. From a worm, can we hear some chickens say? Yes, you're never alone on the loam, and it's time to get to work. We've been looking up, we've been messing around, we've been freaking out, but it's time to get down, down, down. We're made up of common ground, can't live without it, and it's time to get down, down, down. Everybody get down, all the way down, down to the earth, this beautiful luxury land. But now where? Who wants some beans? Some beautiful broad beans from my garden? Here we go. Let's get them in the ground. Here you go. Alright. Yeah, where you at, mate? Oh, cost us some beans. Alright, we're gonna get ready to get up. We're gonna grow up like that buttress tree. Are you ready? Jump around. Here we go now! Oh, we've been looking up, we've been messing around, we've been freaking out, but it's time to get down, down, down. We're made up of common ground, can't live without it, and it's time we get down, down. We've been looking up now, we've been messing around, we've been freaking out, but it's time to get down, down, down. Cause we're made up of common ground, can't live without it, and it's time we just everybody. Ah, yeah. You got it. 'Cause you are what you eat, and you are what you eat eats, and you're even what you eat eats. And it repeats, it repeats, it repeats, it repeats, yeah, it repeats. Down, down, down. Thank you! You grab that over the bookshelf. Back to Peter O'Mara.
Thank you.
I'm around to say hello to
Be
you.
seated.
Sorry.
Kind of like being at church in a way, isn't it?
Pass it over here. How you doing?
Good, so?
Yeah, good. That was fun.
The only difference we have between church and this is I don't think Sue would ever let David reach such aspiration. Okay, just before we do move along and up and down, just a few promos. There is an amazing panel tomorrow, initiated by David and the team at Meliadora, called Transforming Suburbia, Suburbia. It's actually called Transforming the Suburbs. It's on at 3 o'clock in the dome down here, featuring David, Permaculture practitioner Kat Lavers, Dominique Hess, senior lecturer in sustainable building at Melbourne Uni, Michael Abelman, who's an amazing urban agriculturist from Canada, and of course that one word, Costa. Also Milkwood Permaculture are holding a Michael Abelman street farming masterclass, so get onto the website, it's a great website. And on the 23rd and 24th of February, David is a key speaker at the Urban Agricultural Forum by Sustain. And to me, I think the absolute highlight event is where he'll be in conversation with Mariamis over here, an amazing woman in her own right, and a great community gardener. So please get onto the website or the RetroSuburbia website. Also, David and Sue and Holmgren Design have a permaculture PDC being permaculture design. Of course, thank you, Meg, that's why we have her on the team. I just want to bring David back for some thank yous. He's told me he's going to keep them short. Well, good luck with that one. It's been remarkable. Hopefully we'll be able to finish off with a big bang out from the formidable vegetable sound system. But I'll hand over to David.
And, it's great the way the schedule, the very detailed schedule, make the plan and then throw the plan away. It's been fantastic. And I think when I heard that song from the new formidable vegetable sound system Grow Do It album, even though the first album was about my work, I think this is better. They just get better and better. And that song was really something special. Apparently it was actually commissioned by someone higher in the pecking order than me, Vandana Shiva, for the World Soil, Year of Soil. So, yeah. Fantastic. And really big thanks to Costa for lending your name and energy to this book and the strategy that covers such a broad territory. I think RetroSuburbia will stimulate debate, and of course I don't expect everyone who's contributed to the book to agree with everything I've said, but it'll be good to have supporting voices if that debate heats up. I've taken risks of being misunderstood and criticised from so many quarters. Some of those criticisms will be because I haven't gone into great detail in all the whys and wherefores behind the patterns and strategies advocated, because it's really focused at that practical level. That would be another book or multiple books. Some will come with inevitable as a result of inevitable learnings, downsides and collateral damage from the enthusiastic rolling out of some of those strategies, but most will come from established interest groups in governments and corporations that stand to lose power from the wider adoption of RetroSuburbia. So look out for that. But as they say, any publicity is good publicity. Maybe I'm starting to behave like Bill Mollison now that he's gone. I don't know. Anyway, in terms of thanks, there's too many to name, 70 mentioned in the book, but there's a few that I must. Firstly, Sue Dennett, who I think is over there managing the bookstall, patient partner, publisher, risk taker, whose ideas and actions have shaped mine and this work over decades. So I think that's number one for me. And Richard Telford, whose decades have been involved in translating my complex abstract thinking into ways that are accessible to the punters and actually getting it out there in the world. So thank you, Richard. And Beck Lowe, who's used her decades of permaculture teaching and activism to work with me and the manuscript at so many levels while the rest of her life was put on hold. Couldn't have been done without Beck. And Brenna Quinlan, who came into our household and this project at exactly the right time to illustrate the ideas with a passion and knowledge that gives me the confidence about the next generation of permaculture communicators. Thank you, Brenna. And son and chief critic, Oliver Holmgren, who delivered so much of the look of RetroSuburbia with his photography, and finally taught his stubborn old man the importance of the look of things in a fast-changing world. I've been getting that message from a lot of people, but some of us are slow learners. And Meg Ullman for her critical 2 days a week in the Melliodora hothouse office, away from her precious time providing an inspirational expression of everything retro-suburban in her household and in our shared community. Thank you, Meg. Oh. Yes. And Nick Ritter and Kirsten Bradley of Milkwood Permaculture, and also now of Melliodora, for the generous support on so many levels, from marketing, know-how and tech support, right through to adding new energy and systems to keep Melliodora Farm humming. Thank you, Kirsten. Osti Ananda for his creative web design and technical support to make RetroSuburbia.com a happening place on the web. As some of you might know, that's a huge task, and especially for the successful crowd support campaign that we ran from our website. Again, do it yourself, right through. And all the contributors, large and small, who contributed 28,000, which was more than the difference between printing this book here in Australia and in China. So all the people who contributed there, that was a great help. We were pig-headed committed to doing it, printing it here anyway, but it certainly made the balance sheet look a lot better. And Stuart Anderson at Focus Print, Sue's always on the job, can-do man, who delivered the goods in so many different ways, all from a family-owned business employing Australians. Thank you, Stuart. And all the folks who showed through case studies in the book and more of them on the website that RetroSuburbia is real. And I want to make a special mention of none more than the Cameron sisters and their partners here, the children at Hibby Farm in Hibiscus Court, Heidelberg West, who are on the cover of this book, and the wider hood community, informal community around them. Thank you. One little anecdote about that. Oliver's been around the permaculture and sustainability scene for a long time and is a bit hard-nosed and doesn't get excited that easily. He's seen a lot of this stuff all his life. And when he went to Hibby, he got really excited and he said, that's got to be where the cover photo is. And it did happen. And a lot of people think that is just a created artificial photo. And maybe I wasn't there when this happened, but I did hear from Beck or Richard that as the setup was being done, you know how the photographer says, I just do this, and the subject goes, yeah, but that wouldn't be real. And the photographer says, it doesn't matter. Well, apparently Oliver said, 3 kids on the back of the cargo bike, it looks a bit over the top. And you folks apparently said, no, we do it all the time.
Every day.
And the cargo bike, is it here?
Yeah, of course.
The cargo bike is here, so the now famous cargo bike is at Sustainable Living Festival. Thank you. And Pete's already mentioned Luke Taylor and all the SLF crew for their support over the years, and Luke's audacity to ask me to be photographed in a white suit to promote tomorrow's panel. Almost anyone who'd asked me that, I would have said, no, get lost. But I have so much respect for Luke and his work over the years in bringing all these fundamental ideas out there to the wider society. I thought, yeah, okay, we'll give it a go. And yeah, last I wanted to hand on to Robin Rosenfeld and acknowledge her for her risk-taking with Permaculture magazine publishing. Maybe that's something madder than book publishing in terms of the financial risks, the unknowns in this world. And yeah, her support for this event. So thank you, Robin.
Hello everyone. Well, I actually wanted to get up here to thank David. As Costa said, there are a lot of us out there who are the buttresses to the tree, and yeah, I mean, thanks to David not just for this book and his other books, but for the concept, which is what so many of us have followed and come to understand and use as a guiding tool in our lives. And for the last 40 years, David and Sue have been practicing it, and as you know, the culture has come and gone with interest in living a life that's related to permaculture. They're always there as an example for people to learn from. So thank you, David, from me and I guess everyone. And yeah, it was kind of a risky thing to start a magazine. I spoke to a few people before I started it and they said, well, the one good thing is you haven't actually done it yet, so don't do it. I was like, okay, but I'm going to do it anyway. I just sort of didn't listen to them. And yeah, and now we're up to our 10th issue, so this is number 10. And David was there at the launch of the first issue 4 years ago at Ceres at the Harvest Festival. So it's great to be here now with the launch of David's book, and because yeah, basically the magazine has taken all the concepts and ideas of permaculture and brought them together in a really easy to understand way for anyone, like this book is, rather than kind of preaching to the converted. It's just a simple ideas that people can use, and also inspiring stories that people can, you know, you can read, like Hippie Farm. That was a great article that we had about the goats and the goat issue. And yeah, I look around here and it's like, you know, who's who of everyone in the magazine. You know, there's a lot of people here who have written articles in this one. There's Kirsten and Costa, and we've got an article about David. And yeah, so we made this issue. It's themed around RetroSuburbia, the book. So we've got an extract of the book in here, and we've got an article about David, and we're looking really at the themes of urban permaculture, whether that's regional or rural or suburban or inner urban, but how you can apply it to every aspect of your life and not just, you know, gardening, as a lot of people think. So yeah, we've got, oh yeah, cat labours is another one. So we've got articles on how to grow things in small spaces and public spaces and all of those sorts of things. So yeah, I just want to say thanks to David for providing this framework that all of us can flourish under, and this tree that we can all grow from. And yeah, so you can get it in the magazine with the book, and we've also got a stall over there if you want to come over and check it out. So there's more music? Okay, so I will get off so we can have another boogie.
Okay, just about to finish off. Before I go, I really need to thank Kirsty Bishop-Fox, who's the coordinator of this space. Absolutely infatigable. Kirsty, you can put up your hand if you like, so we know who you are. Anyway, David, I just want to call you up before we close up, and then we'll have a bit more music. You know, I'm sure David has great aspirations for this book, you know, and rightly so. But we, the RetroSuburbian team, and almost community, really believe this is a book of vital relationship. It's of hope, it's of transition, and ultimately a journey that we want to share with you and you with us. So to the RetroSuburbia, the book, hello to the world. And to you, the reader, and the doer, welcome to the ideas and the journey within. Enjoy David's book, and thank you. The formidable vegetable sound system.
Feel like one? Who's up for it? Did so well before. Come on, let's get dusty. This is from the first album, Permaculture, a Rhymer's Manual. It's all about getting that return for effort, and David, you've created a community around your work, so thanks for obtaining us all a yield. This one's called Yield. Thanks very much for having us with Formidable Vegetable Sound System. If you work all day from 9 to 5 and come home feeling half alive and never see your kids or wife, then I've got news for you. There's no point doing what you do unless it's somehow good for you. You've got to get a result or two in the form of something real. Now if you're feeling stressed and not the best and have trouble finding happiness, well, here's one thing I will suggest: obtain yourself a yield. Obtain yourself a yield. Sustain your energy. Don't drain yourself. Maintain yourself. Obtain yourself a yield. That's right. Now money's not the only yield. Yeah, you could be making a bigger deal about what you eat for your next meal. You can't run on an empty tank. Ignore the stash of cash in your pocket. Just make a salad with some homegrown rocket. You just have to go out the back and pluck it. No need to go to the bank. You got to work your days for stuff that pays. Not just money, but in many ways. Time you clear away the haze and obtain yourself a yield. Obtain yourself a yield of something you can eat. Yeah, you can produce some things of use with your own 2 hands and feet. Obtain yourself a yield right in the here and now. Make sure to earn something in return. Here, let the formidable vegetable sound system show you how. Trombone, we got Mal Webb. Violin, Connie Morrigan. Also on violin, Alex Burkowitz. Let's pump it up. Are you guys ready to grow food everywhere? What do you reckon? Yeah. Start right here in Federation Square. Let's pump it up. Well, but if you're feeling sleepy, then you can go and have a sleep. But if you feel like there's not enough air, then breathe in very deep. And if you're thirsty, then you order. Get yourself a drink of water. And if it's gonna be cold and you're feeling bold, I don't know, share yourself a sheet. 'Cause in any given moment, there's everything you need. Just look around and it will be found. Obtain yourself a yield. Obtain yourself a yield, but take only what you need. 'Cause it's pretty fun when you're getting some, but there's no need for greed. Obtain yourself a yield and one for others too. Make sure to seal both ends of the deal of what's good for both of you. An easy way to do it is to give stuff to your friends, because the good things you do come back to you and the yield just never ends. And the good things you do come back to you and the yield just never ends. I said the good things you do come back to you and the yield just never, ever, ever, ever ends. David Holmgren, RetroSuburbia launch. See you later.
Buy the books next door.